Let's now build another reusable component by leveraging the children prop once again. And this time, let's say that we wanted a component to display a message. And so that message will always be this paragraph element. It will also always contain this step here, for example, in an H3 element. And then it will contain in an H3 element, so like this, and then it will contain something that we pass in. So some content such as this message right here. So let's once again use the children prop in order to create such a component. So this component I'm going to call the step message. So step message. And then I will for now just copy this. So copy all of this. And so, as I said, we want basically always to display the current step and then here whatever content that we get. So we need to receive two props here. First is this step. And then again, the children prop, which each component, remember, automatically receives as soon as we pass in some content between the opening and the closing tag when we call, so when we use the component. So now we got the step, and then right after that step, let's simply display whatever children that we receive. So this part here is then that empty hole that we talked about in the last lecture. And this empty hole can then of course be filled with whatever we pass in. And again, whatever we pass in between the opening and the closing tag of step message. So here in the button, that hole was basically all the content of the button. So the button here only displays exactly what was passed in. But here we will also, in addition, always display this part. So the H3 with the step itself. Okay, and now let's, where is that? Yeah, so let's now replace this message right here with the step message. Now the step, of course, we have to pass in just like any other prop. Not span, step. Okay, and now here between the opening and closing tag, we basically define the children prop. So this here will then become the children prop. And if you get rid of all this, then let's see what happens. Well, nothing really happened. Of course. I mean, we didn't really return anything here. So we just wrote some JSX, but we didn't return it. We also get some warning here that the H3 cannot be inside of a P. So let's then replace this P just with a div. Give it a save, and there it is. Beautiful. So it always displays the current step and of course the message that we had before, because we passed that in right here, and so that is exactly what we had before as well. And now of course we could reuse this anywhere we wanted. So let's say that here, after the steps, we wanted somewhere else in the app also to have a step message. Let's say step number 1. And then here, maybe the content is pass in content. Let's do another paragraph with some emoji here. It does not matter at all what we have here. And so then here we have step 1 like this, and we can do as many as we want. So let's copy paste that. Let's say, for example, step 2, read children prop, and then maybe some other emoji. Give it a save. And so now we have, again, created a reusable component here that we can use anywhere in our application and give it any content that we want. And it will always, as you see, display this step here with the number that we gave it, and then whatever content that we passed into it. So into the component itself. Let's come back here. And here I just thought that maybe we could use our button again. So why not? And then it makes even more sense to have these different props, because now we can basically customize them in a different way. So let's say here we wanted a different background color and a different text color. These should be strings like this. And we're missing the onClick event handler. And so here, let's just define an inline function. And the emphasis is again on defining a function. So here we need to pass in a function, not call a function. Let's just alert something here. It doesn't really matter. So let's say learn how to, and then we can just use this here, just so that it's related to each of the steps. So we opened the button, then we have the closing tag, and now we can pass whatever we want in here. And of course, this thing that we pass can also just be regular text. So I'll give it a save, and there is our button. It still works, so we are successfully passing in the onClick handler and then using it. The styling looks a little bit off, but I guess that's because I styled those one here. Well, let's see actually, just to make sure there's nothing wrong. Yeah, in fact, these buttons get these styles because they are a children of some element with the buttons class. All right, but that doesn't really matter. We could, of course, wrap this in a div with the class of buttons. That might work, or maybe that will then mess up some other styling. Well, that doesn't really work, but also because it's buttons. Yeah, nice. That looks better actually. And so with this, we can see that we were really able to customize once again our button here. Some parts with normal props like these three, and then the content itself here with the children prop. So if we always just want to pass in a string, this could of course also be a normal prop. But since sometimes we want some other content, like here with some actual JSX, like this span element here, well then we should really take advantage of the children prop. And now to really drive this message home so that you really understand how to work with this important children prop, let's go back to our accordion component exercise and use it there as well.